Hello, everyone. It's Kayla Thompson. Welcome back to Shared News. I am here with my girl, Hannah Fletcher, to give y'all some post-season Love is Blind news, updates, and tea. And there's some interesting stuff to get into, so make sure you strap in. Go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. We're always doing panels like this, and we're always keeping you guys up to date on reality TV, pop culture, movies, and more. So make sure you do that. Hannah, so good to see you, girl. It's Friday. Happy Friday. We are live here with our Shared News family. How are you feeling today?
It's good to be with you. I'm so excited to be able to have another conversation with you. We've been on a roll with Love is Blind. I'm excited to keep this ball rolling. And this cast, man, they're keeping it going. So much has transpired over this past week. And I genuinely thought that after the reunion, I thought it would air. Maybe Monday or Tuesday, we'd hear like a little bit of news. And then I thought that it was going to like kind of fizzle out. But girl, that is not the case, and I'm excited to be able to rehash all of this and talk about all the updates with you. I'm pumped.
Yeah, no, it's not the case at all this season. I don't know if it's the cast or just like the viewership. This season has like a new like energy to it. Like everyone is so much more into this season than I think the past two. So yeah, and this cast is giving us a lot to talk about. People are going on podcasts. There's a lot going on. So we have a lot to talk about. I want to make sure you guys join in on the conversation because we are live. And so we want to make sure you're sending us your thoughts, any questions you have in the comment section so we can respond. And we can just like have a whole kiki about this, okay? Because there's a lot. First of all, Hannah, let's just get back to this, okay? Netflix is finally giving an explanation on the live reunion fail of it all. So let me keep y'all updated. So Netflix came out with a statement, an apology kind of for what happened last Sunday. Everyone knows, everyone's a little triggered by it. I know I am because my whole Sunday night was ruined. And they explained a little bit of what happened in a Q&A that the CEO of Netflix did with their investors. So what he said was, quote, "We had just a bug that we introduced actually when we implemented some changes to try and improve live streaming performance after the last live broadcast. We just didn't see this bug in internal testing because it only became apparent once we put multiple systems interacting with each other under the load of millions of people trying to watch Love is Blind." And I don't know if y'all looked this up, but I did. And they did have a record of 6.5 million people trying to stream it at the same time. Comparatively, at the same time of TV, 9 p.m. on Sunday night, Succession, which is one of the biggest shows on TV right now on HBO Max, had 2 million watching. So that just goes to show you how many people were trying to watch at the same time. Apparently, their broadcast just crashed. We all knew it was a big disaster. So I don't know, Hannah, before we kind of dive in more about it, do you think this is an acceptable excuse? Or are you just kind of like, yeah, just tell me your thoughts. Cause I'm like, okay, but you guys are Netflix, you know? How did you get this wrong?
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. Honestly, here's my deal.
Yeah.
That sounds to me like a bunch of tech mumbo jumbo that I don't understand. You probably don't understand. But I don't think that it's tech mumbo jumbo that is actual tech talk. I think it's exactly what I said, mumbo jumbo. I think it's easy to say. Anytime I've heard the word bug, right? Like a virus, I've deemed that as a bug, like on my computer. I've never heard of a bug to be a good thing. I feel like he kind of put that in kind of a somewhat positive context. We had a bug that we introduced. Okay. We had changes and trying to improve it. I feel like, I don't know. I think that even with internal testing, what does internal testing look like? You're not prepared to be able to unload the amount of people that are coming into this whole excursion. Also, I would look and I'd be like, all right, let's run numbers. Let's pull numbers. Let's pull all the analytics from all of the seasons. I mean, we've only got 4 seasons. Where are the numbers at? They have to be able to generate a report in a quick way. I mean, it should take probably 30 seconds. Press a button, get something rendering, and then have it pop up. They can see that it's a popular season. By process of elimination, just deduce that you're going to need some heavy-duty capabilities to be able to bring on this huge audience. 6.5 million is a lot, I will say that. But look at like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade broadcast. They're probably right around, they probably have even more people that watch something like that. So like, just copy whatever they're doing and use something like that. Like collaborate with other people in the industry to be able to understand what it is that you need in order to be able to do it, or don't do it at all. But don't do it if you don't know that it's going to be 110% effective. You're just gonna, it's a lot. And all they can quite literally say is, I'm sorry at this point, which is just, it's frustrating. Everybody I know moved their Sunday around that watches the show. I know you did, I did. So I don't know. What do you think about it though?
Yeah. No, I think, it's interesting the way that they are like, they had to explain to their investors what happened, because it's a big L, the fact that they flubbed this badly as a platform, when there's so many other people. I mean, cable TV is doing this. Like, they've been doing it for decades. There's really no reason why you guys couldn't have got this done correctly. And they had to even kind of explain why they wanted to go live anyway, because they were saying they felt like, this is a great opportunity to go live because people can all join in together and create more buzz. Obviously, it just didn't go the way that they wanted. And, they were just very apologetic. We're sorry we disappointed so many people. We didn't meet the standard that we expected, even of ourselves, to serve to our members. And so it's just, they really had to, just kind of own up to their mistake. Shay here is saying Netflix knew that they were going to have a big response to the finale. Yeah, so they were kind of taking a chance, because they saw what they had with season 4, like we were just saying. I mean, it's so buzzworthy. There's so many things to talk about. But man, I would say that the platform Netflix definitely took the F, I guess you could say, and not the production of the show. Well, the reunion itself, we talked about Vanessa, and we'll talk about her in a second, the hosts and just the reunion itself. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see kind of where Netflix goes from here. And I think them having to immediately respond to their investors as a company is an interesting thing, just because, Netflix they've been in debt for a while as well. And so it's just, I'm going to keep an eye on them just as a company, because I don't know. That was a big, big sign of not great things to come. So do you expect that they will ever do live again? What do you think, just to kind of close out this topic?
I $5, man. I think that they're going to try it again. I think that they're going to try it again just to prove that they can do it. I don't know if that necessarily comes on the heels of season 5 when that comes out. I'm sure we'll see that this year. The way that they crank and turn these things around with Love is Blind. They know that there's a huge demand for it. I mean, I'm sure we'll see season 5 this year. I'm thinking it anyway. But I could imagine that they're going to try it again. It's one of those things. They're either going to do it to be able to be like, haha, and prove us wrong, or they're never going to do it again. It's going to be one way or the other, I feel like. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that they'll try again?
Yeah, I think it's a great, point to say it's probably 50-50, just because of how much of a fail it was. If they had started late and had technical difficulties of, we started like 40 minutes late, that's one thing. But some people got it, some people didn't. There were sound issues. You had to re-upload it the next day. I mean, people are upset online. Like, it's just like a whole dumpster fire. So, but I will say I think they'll try it again and try to prove themselves. Like, okay, look, we rectified it. It really was a bug. We're just figuring things out. We got this. Don't worry. So we'll have to see what they do next. In terms of Love is Blind season 5 live reunion, I don't know if they'll do a live for Love is Blind again, because they've got to fix the whole hosting and production of some of that show, period. So like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But let's get to the next topic that I have to unpack with you, because this one was really, really hot tea for me. There's a big plot twist. Excuse me. I can't even, because girl, Hannah, we were under the impression that Jackie and Josh didn't want to come to the reunion. Well, I have news for you And for everybody watching right now, the fact of the matter is that she was actually uninvited. Jackie said that she was called by production and a psychologist and was told that because of their concern for her mental health, they felt like it was not best for her to come to the reunion. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, here's the deal. Also, I don't doubt that Jackie would sound off on production. I kind of think that it's interesting if they're withholding her from joining the show because she's going to sound off on production. Some of the stars have stopped. I'm sorry. Some of the stars have started to drop some insight as to what goes on behind the scenes and how they get treated.
Sure.
And I'm kind of interested in that. Even I saw like Nick Thompson from, oh my goodness, was he was with Danielle. Was he season 2? Season 2,
yeah.
Yeah, he even mentioned, and he made it. He made an Instagram reel about it, I think, and he broke down like what the pay is hourly, and like he mentioned about like lack of access to certain necessities like water and stuff like that, withholding his partner as she was having like a panic attack, all these things. So I think if it's for the sake of production keeping themselves safe, I don't think that it's correct. I think if she was going to sound off and say that there are unfair treatments about production, I think that people do have the right to know that. I also think, though, that there's certain people that you can talk to in the industry about that. I don't know necessarily if you'd go to SAG or who you would go to, but I think that there's other people that need to know about that. In terms of the mental health situation, I'm sure that her mental health has taken a toll, right? That's what happens when you go on a reality show. Even if you're somebody like Tiffany and Brett who get such a good clean edit and look so flawless, and they are. I mean, they're a very foolproof couple, but that doesn't mean that they're not anxious and they're not feeling certain types of ways. You know, with the mental health situation, it's like, yes, your mental health, it's recognized. I get it. But at the end of the day, too, I think that then her and Josh were there virtually. They're still subjecting themselves to being asked questions virtually. So then where's the line then? You know, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, are you capable of being on the show or not? If you are, then be there. If you're not, then don't be there. And don't state anything. Then at that point, you left halfway through the show, then then you're done. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't want anybody's mental health to ever suffer. I'm not saying anything against mental health and what surrounds that. But again, I think that it's just, I think that it's also easily kind of what we spoke about in the last live panel when Irina was saying about her mental health. I think that there's also, it's something that's also easy to kind of, I don't want to say hide behind or like use it as an excuse, but I think that it is kind of easy to hide behind. And it's something too that nobody can really prove. It's you have to kind of take somebody's word for it to a certain extent with these guys. So I don't know. What do you think about all of it? It's interesting to me. It's fishy.
It is interesting to me. And I think honestly, a lot of what you said is what causes me to believe that I'm calling BS on production and this I don't know. I don't want to say by psychologists as well, just because here's what I think. I think that Jackie and Josh would have absolutely been at that reunion. Jackie had been talking about, you know, I got receipts. Oh, I'm going to pull up these messages of what Marshall said. Like, I have this, that to prove. Oh, wait till this reunion, y'all. It's about to go down. And production was like, we're not going to be able to control her in that manner. We're not going to be able to control the narrative. It's going to get a little out of hand. It's live. We're not going to be able to have our handle on it. So they were like, okay, it's best to tell her for her sake, better for you just not to come. And we can have a controlled other way of talking with you and Josh where we're just going to be happy for you guys. And we're just going to keep it cute and keep it simple. Because if we let Jackie off the leash, I mean, we don't know what this live reunion is going to be like. So them canceling her flight, I think that is all the show being like, yeah, we don't know how to keep a lid on that. So it's best if we just kind of conjure up this reason of why we think it's better for her to just not actually physically come and for us to just have this interview 60 minutes with Vanessa Lachey like they've been Ben and J-Lo. And let's just keep it at that, because otherwise I think Jackie was actually prepared to come. I don't think that she,
Mm-hmm.
like, in hindsight, I know we were talking about it a couple days ago, like, she, they didn't want to face the music and this, that, the third, but knowing this now, that she was like, oh no, they told me not to come. I'm like, yeah, 1+1 is equaling 2 for me right now. And so
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of chickened out. So
Yeah, I
I don't
forgot
know.
about the
What do
fact that
you think?
they canceled her flight. That's
Mm-hmm.
weird to me. And then them
Yeah.
encouraging her to go talk to somebody and see what's going on. Of course she's going to feel some type of way. Again, she's just launched from a normal mundane life to this experience, and then now she's out in the open, and on top of things she didn't represent herself in the best light possible, right? She's going to feel
Yeah.
some type of way. So it's almost like maybe did
Right.
they legally cover their tush and say, you know what, first we want you to go talk to somebody? And did they collaborate even behind the scenes and be like, look, if she says anything that is indicative of her not being hunky-dory and happy, we need you to, who knows really where it went with things? Like, did this
And
get
that
a
my
little
thing
bit
is just like,
twisted?
I don't think that was even done. I really don't even think that was. I don't think she actually had met with the psychologist and they were like, oh, she's not
Yeah.
ready. She's not. Irina and Micah. There's tons of people who went through, like, really, the backlash of social media,
Right.
went through it, just like Jackie. But they were
Mhm.
there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
everyone else contractually was there. Irina probably did not actually want to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
so it's like all of that leads me to believe, like, you guys just didn't want Jackie up there
Her there.
because she was ready to go off the leash and y'all were not ready for her to do that. And so you
Yeah.
produced it and kind of twisted their whole segment as, like, we're just gonna be happy for you and Josh and just keep it cute because, yeah, we don't want all of that smoke. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
definitely.
even the way that Jackie talked about it in the article was kind of like, yeah, like, this psychologist just called me, like, and they told me that, you know what I mean? I don't know. It was like maybe she'd seen
Yeah.
them before, but just probably like everyone else they had someone that they had talked to, the show had sent them. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just like, it's a conspiracy, I guess, maybe, but I just kind of feel like they just did not want her to kind of go off. So yeah, because she was ready. She was ready with her little receipts. I'm curious what you guys are thinking in the comments. So please let us know as we move forward to our next topic. Are you ready for this, Anna?
I'm not,
So.
but yes. For this one,
This actually isn't even that crazy. Yes. So, okay. So, Vanessa Lachey sent Paul a bouquet of roses after the reunion. He told ET that he felt like she had a personal bias at the reunion because of how she dug in with all her questions. He had posted a photo of the flowers that she sent him on his story with the caption that she, quote, was acknowledging the accidental misleading she was doing. And I think we all saw that loud and clear. But my thing is, where is Marshall's flowers? Because I felt like she was treating Marshall just the same, and he deserved just as much of an apology, in my opinion. But I also do find it interesting, though, just as like a secondary thought. I do find it interesting that she clearly was aware of the response to how she was with Paul on the reunion, right? And so with that being said, how aware are they of responding to the general backlash of their reunion, of her as a host, even the petition to have them fired? Like, yeah, what do you think about all this? What do you think is going to be the response from the Lacheys as well?
Okay, here's my deal. I think all the boys deserve roses. I think all of them do. Go to Trader Joe's and pick out the finest ones and ship them. I think that they all deserve roses. I think that who posted that? That was Vanessa posting the photo of the roses.
No, so it was
Paul
who it was?
posting.
Or who?
Yeah,
he Paul posted that she had sent him flowers and said, "Oh, she was acknowledging that Yeah, we have it
That
here on the screen. She was
okay.
acknowledging,
Okay, that's Paul.
the accidental misleading. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Also, here's my deal. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, she didn't send them. Her people sent them.
Ah.
That's where I'm at.
Good
You think that
point.
she really went on
Good
to
point.
Venus at Fleur and decided that she's gonna send him flat? No, her people sent it.
Right.
I'm sure. So I just don't think that sending flowers. I think that that is a public thing. Paul probably felt some type of way like he had to maybe post it is kind of my thinking because he's a smart boy, right? He's very calculated, he's very logical. I think that it's mature that he posted it, but I think that she also made sure that she had some type of, her and her team, some type of grandiose gesture that was like very nice and like out in the open and a public gesture. A phone call wouldn't have been good enough. That's personal. That's private. That's not something that's all hearsay. That's not something that you can really write too much of a beefy article on. But something like this, you can, right? I personally, if I were in Paul's situation, I would be like, okay, this is a sincere attempt at the squashing of this all. But I think that it says volumes that it's a public gesture as opposed to and potentially quite impersonal if it was her team that sent the flowers. We don't know this. This is my speculation completely.
Sure.
But I think that it's like it's a public gesture. It's not a private, personal one. Like if that really happened, I would be like, hey, can I give you a phone call? When are you free this week? Can we talk, you and I?
Sure.
Like I want to give you my apology. Rachel says, Rachel Reinbach.
Oh yes, Rachel. Thank you so much. Go ahead, read it.
It says, Paul is weird but didn't deserve that questioning. Rachel, I love your comment.
Love that comment, Rachel.
I agree. I think that he didn't deserve the questioning at all whatsoever. I think that it was extremely biased. But what do you think, Kayla?
Yeah. No, and with what Rachel is saying, I think maybe just to play devil's advocate, which is interesting because after I say this, I'm about to go back in on Vanessa a little bit. But I do think that maybe there is a potential that she really did recognize. Maybe she saw what he said to, Entertainment Tonight and was like, man, like, I really was going in on him. Like, and that wasn't fair, right? And I was kind of coming from a bias. And who knows, maybe there was a note attached to the flowers that said something to Paul specifically and had an apology attached to it. And, maybe I think the other thing too, actually, this is what I was going to say is, the fact that he posted it and made it public, like it didn't have to be a public thing. We wouldn't have known unless Paul posted that, So Vanessa, I think at the end of the day, this was a gesture of just a personal gesture to Paul of recognizing the way that she was treating him, because I do think it was completely out of line. Like it didn't really make any sense why she chose to be so kind of just berating him a little bit, just holding him to the fire so much so it just felt like there was a clear bias there. And when there were so many other people that could have been grilled and so many other ways that Vanessa just obviously we all can agree was so off during this reunion. I mean, with the questioning, with the babies, to the main character energy that she had, and just the faces she was making, and just her whole vibe was just like, okay, this is way too much. We've seen 3 reunions before where it wasn't good, but now this is like this is our last straw as a fandom. And so we've got this petition that has passed the amount of signatures that it needs to kind of be legitimate at this point. I think it needed 25,000, which isn't that much, but I mean, it raised very quickly. And so, yeah, with that being said, do we think that the Lacheys will have any kind of response, or the show itself have any kind of response to the fact that everyone is over them being bad at this job?
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing against them personally. They don't get the job done. So what do you expect to kind of happen next?
I don't really know. I've thought about this. I think that either we're going to get some type of message from them as a unit, Nick and Vanessa, and I think that they're going to have some type of video that says like, we've taken into consideration, we've heard you, we understand, this is how we're going to do better. I think we're going to hear some type of plan of attack from them on how they're going to enhance their hosting ways and moderating ways. Or I think that we're going to see a headline in 2 weeks from now that says Netflix fires hosts Vanessa and Nick Lachey after petition from change.org is signed by thousands of upset fans. You know, I think that it's going to go one way or the other. I really don't think at this point, especially like what they don't have in their favor is the fact that Netflix dropped the ball with the live stream too. You know, Netflix is under fire, or Love is Blind / Netflix is under fire for multiple things right now. And if this is like, that's not really a fixable thing, right? Like you can be mad about it all you want. We can't go back in time and fix the fact that it wasn't a live stream. You know, all they can do is fix their technology to be able to support the upcoming projects. What you can't fix and how you can quickly make fans happy is getting these two out of the game. So I'm thinking that they're going to let them go as hosts personally, because it's really running a big risk, and you're gonna have a lot of people that are just really mad if they keep them. Yeah, really mad. Yeah, because I think if you're not changing your ways after 4 seasons, like
why you just don't care
then
about what we think.
You don't. Yeah, you're not doing the job. You're just not fit for the job. It's not that you're not great celebrities and doing what you guys do separately, but you're just not great for this, and that's okay. That's okay.
Got you. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I think that, you know, I think what we'll see is, because let's, you know, the fact of the matter is they already have season 5 filmed and in the can, right? So we can assume that Nick and Vanessa will be on our screens for the season 5, you know, season 5 of Love is Blind, the filming of that season from start to finish. But when it comes to the reunion, maybe there's a possibility that they will give us a different mediator and host for the reunion show. And I think that's probably what, at the very least, we'll get. And maybe in season 6, if people are cool with, okay, we're cool with Nick and Vanessa throughout the season, like they do no harm throughout the season, maybe they'll keep them in that capacity, but continue to kind of have someone else for the reunion shows. Because, yeah, I think it just takes a different level of skill. I mean, it's easier said than done. I don't think I could do it. You know what I mean? To sit there and mediate, but not be biased, but press people enough that you don't really know that well personally and still be likable so that they want to tell you the tea, you know, and know what the audience wants. It's a lot to balance and to manage. Not anyone can just do it. So I'm suggesting, you know, somebody like a Rachel Lindsay would be great. She's a journalist. Pull Andy Cohen. I know it's crossing into different networks, but somebody like that would be great for the job. Yeah. But I think that as a franchise, it would behoove them to listen to the fans, because like you said, people are really upset from the reunion itself, not just being so late, people changing their schedules around, being frustrated by that. But then we go and watch it, and it's more frustrating because the host is off the rails, and we're not even getting the answers we want either. So it'd be one thing if she got the job done. It was just kind of a little annoying, but she didn't even get the job. They didn't even get the job done, Hannah. So I'm just they didn't. Guys, it's time to give up. Time to give up the ghost. So, any final thoughts on Vanessa and Nick and this whole hosting situation?
Pretty much everything that we've said is kind of where I'm at with it. I think that there's better options out there. And I think at the end of the day, too, like, they really do need to listen to the fans. Like, Netflix, listen to the fans for this one, because these people, there's something about Love is Blind. And I feel this way, too, every single season I've watched so far, every single episode. Like, I am very drawn to this show. I do really enjoy this one. Yeah. But the fans have such a personal connection to the show, and I feel like to the people that are on it. So, like, everything, they take it very personally. Like, I feel like the fan base for Love is Blind is, like, very similar to, like, the fan base for, like, almost like Selena Gomez. Like, they're loud, they're proud. Wow. Like, definitely make sure that you listen to them, because I mean, 6.5 million to tune in live. That just shows you right there how much of an impact you have. And that's on a weekend, too. That's not on a weeknight when most people are free. That's on a Sunday night. Most people are, I know Sunday nights I was never home. I was out to dinner with my parents and stuff like that growing up. So, like, listen to the fans on this one, Netflix, for sure, with the hosts.
Yeah, and, you know, Kinetic, they've done the job already of just casting such great people to be on the show and giving us a great show to watch. They've already done the hard job. Now you just got to do that one little thing, quick fix. Just switch out the host.
Just tweak it.
Just give us this one little thing, one little tweak, and we're good to go. So yeah, make sure you guys send us any of your thoughts on that. Maybe who you would want to see as the new host of Love is Blind. That'd be interesting. All right, so finally, our last little topic for this panel is that Micah went on the Viall Files a couple of days ago, Nick Viall's podcast. Our girl Allison Van Dam was talking to Micah in there, and she was talking about her journey with Paul and just the whole reunion itself. But within that, she defended Irina and was kind of coming for Zack for saying that Irina was there for fame. She said, quote, "To say someone's not there for the right reasons, come on, you've plugged your Instagram just in this finale, just in this reunion 4 different times. Like, who's here for fame? She's been on ghost mode for weeks." She kind of went on to say that, you know, she felt like Irina just deserved more grace. Like, she showed up to face him at the reunion. Like, she deserved for them to just kind of give her some slack, basically. And Hannah, I don't know if you did this, but I did. I checked Zack's receipts that he was referencing in the reunion, and they aren't what Micah thinks that they are, okay? Zack in these receipts is basically just talking about his own mental health journey. He's talking about grace. He's talking about hope and something completely different. Like, he wasn't, like, plugging himself. So,
no,
I guess Micah,
because I looked too.
No one really did their homework on what Zack actually was talking about. That's why he kept talking about it over and over. But yeah, okay, so what do you think about Micah kind of defending Irina? Like, do you think that she deserved a little bit more grace for showing up? Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't know what other grace we could give her. Does she want a medal? Like, congratulations, you did your job. You came to the reunion no matter how you were portrayed on the screen, no matter how you portrayed yourself. I don't understand why we have to have a round of applause. I'm glad that she did come because she was the villain of the show. But also, here's the deal. At the end of the day, I watched the post-interview, I think it was Entertainment Tonight, interviewing Irina. And everybody was actually commenting on that interview, stating that how good of an interview it was. I actually liked Irina in that interview because she owned everything. She knew that she was getting roasted. She basically said that that's what she was there to do. She was owning up to what she did. She showed up is basically the crux of what I'm saying. So I don't know why. And here's my deal. She owns being the mean girl of the show. She owns being the villain. Why are you going to go and defend the person who doesn't need defending, who is satisfied with living in where she planted herself? Especially when you're so up in the air and people go back and forth on whether or not they like you. The last thing that I'd be doing is sitting there and defending the one person that's really okay with taking the L and knows that they messed up. I just also think that Irina doesn't need defending. Like, there's nothing to defend. Her actions are inexcusable. And she's owning it, and that's literally all she can do at this point, is own it and sit in it and try to move on. And then as far as, like, Zack and the receipts and everything go, the receipts are not what she thinks. Honestly, I think I think receipts wouldn't even necessarily be the correct word. I think that he could have phrased it a little bit differently, because receipts normally mean, like, these are the text messages that indicate that you cheated on me or something like that. Like, so him saying receipts, I don't think that maybe that's even the correct phrasing. So she can have the benefit of the doubt. No, absolutely.
I think he did that on purpose. I think he used that buzzword because he was kind of saying,
get
like,
people
you
to
guys want
look.
to talk
He's
about
smart.
Receipts. I have receipts. Yeah, like, that's how he was kind of using it. So I kind of got
that's true.
the pun of, I guess you could say, of
what he's saying.
But
there, I just don't think that it was worth. I don't think defending her and being on ghost mode for weeks. She's had to be. She's hated. She is hated, that girl, Irina. Like, I mean, she I don't understand why she was defending Irina, and Zack was not there for fame. I don't believe that for 2 seconds. I just don't. I mean, yes, he brought up his Instagram, but if you're referencing something and it makes sense, then there you have it. I mean, at the end of the day, he's not there for fame in any way, shape, or form. I don't think
if
at
anyone
all. I
thinks
think
that
he was
Zack,
there to find love.
Zack, whatever his last name is there for fame. I'm like, okay, be for real. Like,
if he was there for fame, he would have,
like, you've been posting all these videos and you've been doing all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, because he's happily married and he's like, people like him, so he feels the freedom to just be on social media and revel in like his life, his happiness of his life. Like, he's not trying to, you know what I'm saying?
He had swords in the background. Like, if he were there for fame, he would have moved his swords. He's not there for fame. This boy's there because he's ready to find love. He hasn't found it yet at this point in his life. I'm sorry. No.
That's why he was there. No. That's why. And I think that it was indicative of her, like, to defend Irina when it's interesting because I watched some of the interview with them, and I love the Viall Files. Like, I'm a fan.
Me
but
too.
I just found it interesting that they, like, were supporting her of, like, like, defending Irina kind of, but like she was defending her other friends as well in the same interview, and there was pushback on like, well, your friends are trash, like, you know what I mean? And it's the same to me. It's all in the same realm. Like, it's the same difference. And I think even more so with this show, we saw what Irina was doing, and I think Zack has every right to be upset with Irina. Like, Micah doesn't really have anything to do with that. Like, of course she was asked about it, but like it's not really her place to like judge how upset Zack was. And he didn't even say anything that disrespectful. He was just like, yo, I just don't think you were there for love, because if you were, you wouldn't have been saying all out of the things that wasn't air. You wouldn't have done what you did. Like, you know what you did when the 90% of the time, you know what I'm saying? So it just was like, Micah, we don't need you to step in and try to like go to bat for Irina, because we all know that she probably was there for Instagram followers. And a lot of people probably were too. I mean, like, you never know if you could find love on this show. It's nothing against that, but it's just like, to go so far as to be like, well, Zack, you were posting this. It's like, Zack was not trying to come on here and get IG famous, okay? Like, there's just no way. So
he's a successful lawyer. Think about how much money he lost being away for a month filming this show. I mean, seriously, like, Zack is not like, no, I don't believe that at all. I just don't.
I don't believe that. So yeah, I think that kind of argument kind of fell flat to me, and I just was kind of like, I mean, there's really nothing to defend. Like, Irina did what she did, and she hid behind some excuses that we didn't really feel like were fair or excusable. Like, so I don't know. I just was like, Micah, let's just worry about you like making better friendships.
There's enough going on with you right now.
It's
like,
kind of concerning me. It is concerning me that you are so defensive of people like this. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's reflective of her, I think. So yeah, any kind of final thoughts on Micah, hopping back at Zack, this whole thing with Irina?
Not really. I mean, at this point, it's just kind of like, I think that it's a reach for her to clap at Zack like that. I think it's also just odd for her to defend Irina. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, Irina's she's got her own little boat of one rowing away, and just let her row. You know, that's kind of where I'm at. Just let her do her own thing. There's no need to sit and defend. I mean, and the thing is, at the end of the day, too, you have to think about, like, if you're defending somebody like Irina, it's just going to make you look worse. You know, it really, really is. Like, it's not making me like Micah anymore by her defending somebody who had beyond childish actions and words displayed on national streaming. Like, no, international streaming. No. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess everyone has a right to their opinion. Everyone has a right to their opinion. That's what she felt. But
Yeah.
Before we go, I do have one last question for you. Just something fun before we wrap.
Okay.
Who are you like, I am following them after this? Like, I am following at them after this season. I want to see more of what's going on. Like, who are your faves coming out of season 4?
That's a good question. Um, I think for me, I'm curious to see Marshall find love. I'm hoping that he does. So I'm going to stay
Yeah.
tuned to Marshall
Yeah.
to see if he gets with somebody and stuff like that. I think I'm going to check in on him for that. I think for actually
sure.
just like what I would like to see is like I don't remember there's a network that's affiliated with YouTube called like the Kin Network or the Kin Channel, and they do things with like Adrian
Okay.
Bailon and like and her
Oh,
husband
cool.
Israel Houghton, and then Jeannie Mai
Mhm.
from The Real, and then and her life.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
like I would like to see like a Kin channel come about from like Zack and Bliss or Tiffany and Brett as well.
Aw.
I would like to see like a deep dive
Yeah.
into their lives and really get to understand what went on behind the scenes. Like I want to know a deep dive into like what was it like post pods having the opportunity to learn each other. You know you love each other, but you don't have
Yeah.
all of the answers to
Right.
all of the questions. Like I want to know like the nitty gritty of like what that process looks like. Nobody really talks about the
Mhm.
the triple P, the post pod process, right? Um, so I'm
Right. Or
excited to
just
like
post
see what
show
that
in
looks like.
general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did you was it organic? Like, was it like how did that go? And not
Mhm.
like just surface
Mhm.
level answers. Like, I want like specific anecdotes. What'd you journal about? Like, give me the
Mhm.
details. I'm curious to see.
You're like, I want to
You
be
know,
a
I'm
fly
like, give it
on
the
the wall.
juice.
I want to know
Yeah,
everything. Yeah,
yeah.
I think, for me, Zach and Bliss
Mm-hmm.
coming out of the season have just been blessing me on their Instagram
Yeah,
stories. They're
they're
so
so cute.
cute and like
So cute.
quirky, and they're so obsessed with each other, and it's just super sweet. Brett and Tiffany following them as well. But Marshall is a good point. I think Marshall, I would love to see him and Justin Glaze keep like collaborating on social media and just showing
Yeah,
their friendship, their relationship just as cousins, and maybe even dip into some of like the Bachelor alum world. That could be really cool for Marshall. Who knows? Maybe
yeah.
he could find someone in that space. But I do like the idea of a spin-off show with the married couples, like
That would be
continuing to
fun.
see what's been going on in their lives, like even back to like Lauren and Cameron, maybe. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Joanne says, I love Zach and Bliss and Tiffany and Brett. I hope we get to see more of them in the future. Exactly. Joanne,
Yes,
wouldn't you love
Joanne.
a spin-off show of like the married couples that we love? Okay. Lauren and Cameron, even like Barnett and
Love
Amber
that.
could be cool to like revisit what's been happening with
Yeah.
with them. Do you want to read Don's comment?
Yeah, Don says the couple Cameron and his wife from season 1 should be the new hosts. IMO, in my opinion. Oh, I agree completely. I think that, well, I don't think that they would dig for it, though. I think that they would be so
No,
nice.
I don't think so.
I think that they would
Well,
be
you know
really
what?
good as the hosts, though.
They
Like,
would be good
be
as the hosts of the show.
of the show.
But like for the
Right?
reunion, I think the
Union,
reunion they still need somebody
you
else.
need
They need one person.
you need a you
Yeah.
need a digger for that. But I think
You need a
that they
digger.
would serve. Yeah, you gotta dig for the story. You know, like you gotta get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, for the show itself, that could be cool.
I think so
Trisha
too.
says maybe the producers brought Irina and Micah on the show for drama. The producers knew both of these women were not ready for marriage. See, I think they cast people for multiple reasons. I think they cast, any reality TV show does it. I think they cast people for like love, or for, whatever the reason of the show is, like for it to be serious. And I think they cast like people for the spice, the drama. They knew that Jackie was going to be probably not ready and maybe implode. They knew that they saw that coming from a mile away. They do interviews. It's casting for a reason. So I would agree. I think that Micah and Irina were definitely brought for drama, and I'm sure they loved the fact that they were causing drama in the women's quarters.
Love
and
it.
They loved that Irina and Zack imploded the way that they did. He got back with Bliss. Oh my God, like this was a producer's dream. So
Yeah.
I I would totally agree. Thank you guys so much for your comments as well. Um, but yeah, I think that, you know, moving forward, they just have the show itself has a lot to work on. I think with season 5, obviously they've already got that filmed. It's in the can. It's ready to go. Maybe we'll see it at the end of this year, like you were saying before. But for the reunion, I think they really need to do something different. So
Definitely.
we will have to see what happens. But that about wraps up our Love is Blind news panel for today. Thank you so much again for everyone who commented and asked questions live. We really do appreciate it. Make sure before you go to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell as well, because we're always giving y'all updates on Love is Blind, Bachelor, any pop culture news. Once again, I'm Kayla Thompson, joined by Hannah Fletcher. Come follow us on our social medias. We would love to connect with you guys there. But thank you again for watching, and we'll see you guys very, very soon.